How much language can you learn in just 10 sentences? Now, I know there are a lot of people out there to just get quick fixes for language. I just want to learn 15 minutes a day or a few hours a week. And I am a firm believer that you cannot develop fluency unless you really let that language consume your life. However, there are ways that you can get more bang for your buck, more of that language just seeping into your being and becoming part of you in a faster time. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be spending less time with the language, but it does mean that you're going to get more out of the resources that you have. You're going to squeeze every little bit out of the language that you have to learn as much as you can. Learning from sentences, mass sentences, isn't a new thing. You've got Anki decks and you've got things like Glossica there. So you've got spaced repetition. Mike Campbell's done an amazing job. But sometimes when you're just learning by yourself, you won't get a full appreciation of the richness, how rich the context is, how rich the actual idioms in there are being used, or the structures, or how you might parlay them out, no pun intended, into other ways, how you can use that tool to achieve different things in the language. So again, you get more bang for your buck. So I'll show you what we're going to do today. How much Thai can you learn in 10 sentences? Now, there's a lot of thanks to go out for making this clip possible. The first one is to David Martin. So David Martin put out these sentences. Now, he originally was putting out, 10 sentences, 20 sentences at a time in a Thai online group on Facebook. And they looked like this. And, I'd look at them and I'd think, they're interesting. But it never occurred to me what he was actually doing. In hindsight, these now 4,000 sentences here. And now I see he keeps adding to them. This is some of the richest real Thai vocabulary I've ever encountered in my life. And this is we're talking 25 years of speaking Thai, teaching Thai, and I can honestly say that the reality, how real this vocabulary is, how close it is to the language that we use every day in Thai is second to none. It's really good. And it's really funny because you can actually see that he's probably been in circumstances there where he may have been with his wife or his significant other, I'm not sure, or somebody else, and he said, how do you say that? Even when they've been angry, what did you say just then? And he's gone into meticulous detail, detailing the real Thai that he's heard people use in real life, in maybe news broadcasts, in watching TV, in watching dramas. He's got it all here and he's laid it up. Now, the problem with this format, and this is why I put Mindkraft together, you might come across resources like this. So this is in a PDF form, and David hasn't put it in any database or anything. I think he's just been typing this into a doc, maybe a Word doc or a Google doc, and formatting it like this. And so this is where the next thank you comes in. Mindkraft isn't just about getting the language skills, but it's about learning a certain degree of tech. It's about pattern matching and using everything that we have in us as human beings to maximize our learning, in this case, learning in language. And so what we did several months back, we initially looked at these phrases that David had put out in a PDF. And first of all, we got character recognition of it. And so I've shown that in other clips, how you can extract this amazing data out of a PDF document or anything. There are a bunch of tools you can use. But from that, when you look at the data, it's a mess. Now, in this case in particular, it's a mess because David has changed some of the formatting through there. You can see you've got a number here. You've got the Thai. You've got the pronunciation, the phonetic guide that he's used. You have the definitions here. Sometimes you've got extra fields thrown in, and it's not done in a consistent manner throughout. And so initially we did that, but we've tried different ways of parsing it. Finally, thank you, Luke. And this is a huge thank you, Luke, who is part of the Mindkraft group and one of the most amazing minds when it comes to putting tech and language stuff together. And so Luke finally worked out how to parse it in Python, put a little script together. And so now we can actually process all of David's documents, whatever he throws at us, and we can turn it into this. Now have a look. We have the index. So we've got, 1 to 4,000 sentences in this one. You've got sections. So basically he's done this 4,000 sentences, 200 sections, 20 sentences per section. That makes 4,000. And so we've listed the sequence order, so the sequence index, so whether it's 1 to 20 of a given section, and then you've got all the sections. And so what we've been doing in Mindkraft with Thai, but we look to do this in other languages as well, is do 10 random sentences and see how much language we can extract from it. The cool thing about these sentences is that it's not actually really advanced vocab. It's how you use the language. So the vocab used in here isn't huge, but the structures, the idiomatic usage, the particles that are used, the situations that are used, and just little different shades of language that you can use is all in here, and you can do it all without having to use too much vocabulary. So what we would do is get 10 random sentences and see how much can we milk them for, and we can get a lot. Sometimes 10 sentences would last an hour, and this is good not just for Thai learners but for any learner, because you can start to see nuances of language and how language works in general. So if I were to use just this in Visidata, this is in the terminal, I could do something like this. I could just type random rows down the bottom here, and I want to choose 10 sentences, and bang, I have a random set. But it's not sexy. I can look in there, and if I wanted to turn this into a YouTube clip that you're watching, it's not any fun. And so you may remember this interface. I used this to show you how I was learning the genome characters, and so we can call these characters out from a database. We've got the Thai cognates, all of these things. I can toggle pronunciation on and off. You can see that there. I can fetch a new word, it goes to it, and I can test myself, it puts them down here. I can check those words. I can do a whole lot of different stuff with this interface, which is really cool. How do I apply this to what I want to do? So here's the problem. I want to get 10 random sentences, and I want to learn as much as I can from them. Ta-da! This is the interface that I built based on that original one, but I'll show you how it works. And so this is the beginning of a new series for you, especially if you're learning Thai. Now, I'm going to go really deep and add much more in Jacademy, so you can come and access much more there. But you're going to see from the clips that are going to follow this just how much rich language you can learn from 10 sentences. I'll show you how it works. Now, if I wanted to fetch one random phrase, what I've done, I've got all of the sentences here. So I exported the CSV and they're all in here. And so I just created this interface so I can do it. So I can get a random phrase from that list and bang, I've got it there. Now you remember that when I said that there are 20 sentences per set, what David did, sometimes these sentences, they actually follow on a conversation. And so just getting a random sentence isn't always going to give you everything that that sentence has to offer. And so not only did I add the sentences here so we could review, but each time a sentence was pulled, so you can see the details here, out of 4,000 sentences, this is number 197 sentence, and this is sentence number 20 out of set 197. So it's getting towards the end of those 200 sets of sentences from the 4,000. And so what I've done then is taken this set and retrieved the entire set, and you can see highlighted in blue down here is where that, so it's actually the last sentence, so number 20 sentence of this set. So we can not only learn this sentence here as a sentence, but we can also see it in context of the 20 sentences in that set, which is going to come in handy. So what about the 10 sentences? So what I did, I just created a thing where we can do fetch random 10. And so what it does is go into that list, and it's going to be setting a setup of 10 sentences from anywhere in that document. And you can see that it's running a script now. In a second, you're going to see it'll clear those out. It's going to populate all of those 10 sentences down in this section on the right. You can see the sentences populated there. And so for each sentence then in there, it's highlighted this first one for us, so we can see it there. But then I can actually click on any one of these. So say I want to see the next sentence, I can just say review that phrase, and it will inject that sentence into there. And again, you will see number 81 sentence in context there. And one other thing, so David has left notes for each of these sentences, but I've been noticing as we do it, I want to add my own notes. So I included a custom field here that we're going to be using together in all the clips after this when we're doing how much Thai can you learn in 10 sentences, or maybe I'll just call it Thai in 10 sentences. So you can watch out for that. So here, ถูกใจไหม? So this is another verb. So ถูกใจmeans to like something. So I might want to have a custom note Another word for ถูกใจ so I can write it here, so ถูกใจ is ชอบ or ชอบใจ and so that maybe that's a custom note that I want to add just for my own learning. I can say update custom note there. And the really cool thing about this is that every time I make an update and every time I make a list or I'm reviewing the words, I've actually created this list there. So each day that I'm learning, if we go to File, I just go to Download, comma separated values, tab separated values, and I can start creating daily review lists of what I've learned. I can turn this into text to speech, space repetition, do anything that I want, and you can see even my custom note is there. And so this is all done in Google Docs. It wasn't difficult to create. It looks complex because all these parts are sort of working in together, but it's using Google Docs functionality. I've sprinkled a little bit of JavaScript magic on the back end, but not a lot, mainly just to inject this number, and then everything else pulls from there. And so in future clips, we're going to be going through 10 sentences at a time, and you'll be blown away how much you can actually learn from these sentences. So if you want to learn how to do all of this, say this text side of it and use that, and then make the tools that you need that work for you to learn the language, as well as learn the internal skills, how your body produces language, and have an amazing community of native speakers and learners of that language to learn from and really accelerate your learning, will come to Mindkraft. Come to jacademy.com and join the Mindkraft group. Also scan the QR code and join the Discord server, because this is what we do. We're in there to help you learn. You'll have all the tech, all the linguistic knowledge you need to learn, and the language knowledge from native speakers. So stay tuned for the next series, Thai in 10 sentences, and maybe we can do this in Chinese, in Vietnamese, in other languages as well. I'll be doing also Yawi, so the Kelantan dialect that's spoken in southern Thailand of Malay. So maybe we can do that and we can create these language in 10 sentences for all of these different languages, but definitely Thai, so stay tuned. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.